my name is Rachel. I'm here today teaching a mixed level Pilates class. So it's suitable for all levels, beginners. I'm going to be building on each exercise, so you go to where you want to today and make sure you take it in your own pace, and I hope you enjoy it. So we'll start off standing at the end of our mats and just finding a bit of grounding. We'll have our feet hip distance apart, so there's a tennis ball between the 2 feet or slightly wider, and then just rocking back and forth from the heels to the toes, and giving yourself just a couple of seconds to come onto the mat, finding yourself a little bit, finding the ground beneath you, sending energy down your feet to bring you onto the mat today, and then coming to a middle ground in between the toes and the heels, taking a big inhale, sending the fingertips right up to the ceiling. Reach up, and as you exhale, open the arms out a little bit behind, so you open that chest and bring your chin down to the chest. Big inhale, send the fingertips up to the ceiling, reach up, and then as you exhale again, opening out the arms, chin to the chest. One more time here, we'll send the hands up, we'll hold them here. Just release the shoulders down a little bit, and then think of sending a little bit of energy down to the heels, so you feel like you're almost separating the upper body from the lower body. And we'll take a little lean back, so the hands and upper body go back a little, pelvis goes forward a little, maybe squeeze the glutes a little to just protect that lower back. And then we'll take a forward bend from the waist, flat spine, soft bend in the knees as we release ourselves down towards the mat. Let go of your head, neck and shoulders. Shake it all out. Take a big inhale here, and as you exhale, really release and release everything down to the mat. Big inhale, and as you exhale, expel all that air out of the body. Shake it all out. One more big breath here. Big inhale, big exhale, and then slowly begin to restack, keeping everything heavy, head heavy, arms heavy, and we come back up, we send those hands right back up to the ceiling again. Big inhale as we lean back a little, exhale as we fold forward, soft bend in the knees, release the head, neck and shoulders. We'll just stay for one big breath this time. Big inhale, and exhale, and then slowly bringing ourselves back up again. Send those fingertips back up to the ceiling, release the shoulders a little, lean back, we'll fold forward as we exhale. This time when we come down, we'll stay down, we'll walk our hands out, and we'll come into a down dog position. Walking out the feet, big bend in one knee, sending the opposite heel down, bringing a little bit of movement into the body, getting the blood flowing, and then maybe coming to have a little look under each arm as you go, so that you're coming a little bit of movement into the shoulders also, sending the head back towards the feet a little. We've got 3 and 2 and last 1. We'll take a big bend in both knees and send your tummy towards your thighs. Send the seat bones back, and really think about finding length and space in the shoulders a little bit here. And then we'll straighten up the legs, and then as we exhale, we'll send the heels down a little, feeling that stretch in the hamstrings. Big bend in the 2 knees again, tummy to the thighs, head back towards the feet a little, come into the shoulders, maybe press into the right side a little, left side a little, just to loosen out each side. Then we'll straighten up the legs, and as we exhale, heels come down a little bit. We'll lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Take a bend in the right knee, and step it forward to the outside of the right hand. Bringing the weight into the left hand, open up with the right hand towards the ceiling. Bring the right hand back down. Right foot goes back to the left, we come back to down dog, 2 heels down. Lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, bend in the left knee, step it forward, all the weight into the right hand, left hand up to the ceiling, rotating from the rib cage around. Bring it back to center, left leg back into down dog. We'll continue on here in your own time, moving forward to bring that leg forward, opening out. You can speed it up, you can slow it down. You can bring up your heart rate by speeding it up, deepening the stretching by maybe taking your time a little bit more. Take a bend in the knee, step it forward. Each time you rotate around, maybe can you rotate a little, the chest around a little bit more, front knee facing forwards. 2 more in your own time. sending yourself back, lifting that leg nice and high, opening the hips and the pelvis as we step forward, opening up, release down. Last one here, heels down, lift that left leg nice and high, bend in the knee, step it forward, left hand up, open the chest, left hand down, bringing yourself back to down dog, and then bring yourself forward, 2 knees onto the mat. Lovely. Catching the breath there now if you've got the heart rate going up. 10 fingers spread wide on the mat. Hands, wrists in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. And from here, coming into a nice cat-cow stretch. So we'll inhale, we open up forward, open the collarbones, looking forward, send the seat bones back. As we exhale, we bring the chin to the chest, rolling through the spine to bring the mid-spine up to the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone under, a little pressure in the hands to send us up. Think about finding length in the neck, maybe send the crown forward. And then as we inhale, we open out, tailbone back, collarbones open. And then exhale, chin to the chest, roll through the spine, mid-spine up. Tuck the tailbone under, a little pressure in the hands, and then we open out. Inhale as we do, and then exhale. Lovely, nice stretch into that spine. And then we'll bring a bit of movement into this move here. When we open out here and we inhale, we keep this position as we sit back onto the heels. And then we start to roll the chin to the chest, we curve into the spine as we move ourselves to bring ourselves forward, back in line with the wrists. We open out as we inhale, collarbones open, and we sit right back again. We start to move the chin to the chest, tuck the tailbone under, roll through the spine as we come forward over the wrists. Open the collarbones out, they open up, send the seat bones back. We sit back here for the last one. And then we tuck the chin in, roll the collarbones back in as we come back to center. And then we open out, we find neutral. Lovely, guys, well done. So from here, we're going to tuck our toes in underneath. You really want to send those toes in. And we're coming into some toe stretches, which are not at the most pleasant place to be, but really important to make sure that we function correctly through the body, through the legs. So important to not forget about the feet, we're on them all day long. So tucking those toes right back in, and then we'll sit back onto the heels and we sit upright. Open the shoulders here. Now, mightn't be the most comfortable of places to be, and if you feel free to come in and out of it, or if you need to, you bring yourself up to a high kneeling position in order to release the kind of pressure a little bit. I'm going to move forward here just to give you a little bit of a better angle for what we're coming into. So, but keeping those toes tucked in underneath, making a basket with the hands and bringing them behind the head. Opening the elbows lovely and wide, but just being a little conscious of not flaring up the rib cage. Try and keep the rib cage nice and relaxed as well. From there, we're going to keep the elbows wide and take a bend to the left-hand side. The right elbow goes high. We come back to center and we go to the opposite side. Back to center, using your breath here. Inhale as we go to the side. Exhale through center. Inhale to the side, exhale through center. So the movement's coming from the rib cage. Try not to let the front arm, a lot of times people will come across the body like so. We want to keep those elbows lovely and wide, so it's the chest is lovely and open, but still keeping the breath through center. Lovely work. We've got 3, and back, and 2, and back, and last 1. And back. We'll come up to a high kneeling position, untuck the toes. Whoo, little release there. So keeping the toes flat for the moment, but keeping your hands nice and wide in your position behind the head. Again, conscious of the rib cage a little bit here. And then from there, like we did in our previous exercise, we take a bend to the left-hand side. Look up a little bit here, so you're kind of really opening the chest. And then we let the 2 elbows come forward. We roll around the rib cage and we come back to the opposite side. We open out, looking up a little, really opening the chest. Big inhale. As we exhale, we release the 2 elbows forward, we roll around the rib cage, we come to the opposite side, we open out and look forward. And then exhale as we close the elbows, come around. Inhale as we open out. Exhale as we come down. Inhale as we open out. Last one here. Exhale, rolling around. Inhale, open out, and come back to center. Release those 2 hands out. Tuck the toes back in underneath again. Last few minutes of the toes in, I promise. So sitting back down onto those toes. Placing your right hand down on the mat, just to the fingertips. The left hand comes across the body and goes up and around over the ear. So we have a lovely open chest again. You can look up at your arm. Let that left arm come then around and across the body. Place the left fingertips down. The right arm comes up and over. Have a look up at the right arm. We bring it around and across the body. The right arm comes down. The left arm comes up and over. We're feeling a lovely stretch along the waist and the rib cage. We come across and you're like, what about the screaming toes? I know they're on fire. Okay, we've got just one more on each side. Bringing it back. Right hand down. Over. And bring it back. Release those toes, shake them out, and enjoy that release. Sit back on your feet, come into child's pose for a little second, and move those toes a little in order to release them out. Super work, guys. Big inhale, and exhale. Bring yourself back up onto all fours. Tucking the toes in, we lift ourselves up to down dog again. We walk it out. Big bend in one knee, send the opposite heel down. 3, 2, and 1. We'll then walk the 2 feet up towards the hands. 2 straight legs, trying to keep the hands down on the mat for as long as possible. You might need to come to fingertips or have them off the mat, that's no problem. But trying to keep them down low. 2 straight legs, taking a big inhale as we exhale. We release our head towards the knees. Big inhale as we exhale. Release the head down towards the knees. Big inhale as we exhale. Release the head towards the knees. Sending the right foot out to the edge of the mat, toes slightly turned out. Left foot out to the edge of the mat, toes slightly turned out. And then we'll bring ourselves down to a low seated squat. So guys, what's important here is that you have the heels down. We want to try to avoid being on our honkers like this. We want the heels down. So if you need to have your seat bones higher, that's no problem. If you need to have the legs wider, that's no problem. We want to have the heels down. And it's kind of a work in progress, this one. The more you do it, like anything, the lower you can go, but really important if you can try. We try to also have length in the spine and in the neck, try to avoid curving here. We'll have our hands in prayer position and encouraging the knees open a little bit with the knees, with the elbows, apologies. So maybe you might move right and left a little just to get a bit of movement into those hips. And then placing the hands back onto the mat, we'll lift the seat bones up, we drop our head back towards the mat. Big inhale. And as we exhale, we release the seat bones back down. We come back to prayer position. We send the hands to the mat. We lift the seat bones high. We drop our head. We big inhale, and as we exhale, we release our seat bones back down. Last one here, lifting back up. And then as we release down, we hold it here. So holding it here is a big enough challenge. If you want to add on a little bit, we might just bring our arms up and in line with the ears. We open the chest and we look up. And then we'll open the arms out wide. Try not to have them in front here with a curve in the spine. We want a nice upright spine, open chest. Arms then out in front, send the shoulder blades back. Arms in line with the ears. And then out by the sides. Out in front, shoulder blades back. In line with the ears. And then out by the sides, holding it here if you can. Extra little challenge. We're going to come back down to the mat, onto our seat bones, lovely and quietly, without falling over, if possible, and without having our legs fly in the air, but don't worry if they do, that's no problem. Keeping the arms out nice and wide here, and we're going to move the feet And out wide, nice big bend in the knee. Keeping the arms wide, we sit right up onto the seat bones, so you're lovely and tall. We bring a little curve into the lower spine as we begin to sit back into our C curve. Our arms come forward. We hold it here when we're challenged. Big inhale, and we come back up as we exhale. And then we release back down. And then we come back up, opening and closing the arms as we go. Come right back up to those seat bones. Exhale, release back down. Inhale, come back up. Each time coming to that point where you feel challenged in the core, holding it here and maybe seeing, could I go a little further? Could I go a little further? And then bring yourself right back up. Last two. And last one. We come back down, hold it here. Move the 2 feet in closer together. You can leave your 2 feet on the mat, or you might like to lift one leg, you might like to lift 2 legs. So feel free to do whatever you guys want to do today. We open out with the right arm, we bring it back to center. We open out with the left, we bring it back to center. Keeping the heels the same height as the knees if possible, keeping the body, avoiding it from coming up when you bring the arms with you. Lovely. We've got 3 and back, and 2 and back. Last one here and back, hold it. If you have 2 feet on the mat, you might challenge yourself to lift one leg, place it down, lift the other. If you're in the position I'm in now, you might try to straighten the legs, bend the legs. Straighten, bend, straighten and bend, and come back up to seated. Lovely and tall. Lovely work, guys. So 2 feet wide now, toes slightly turned out. We'll come to the heels of the feet. We let the one arm come on top of the other, right arm on top of the left, whichever way you want. Lovely and upright again. Let the 2 knees fall out to the side, but let them land on the ground. So now your legs look like they're in kind of a running shape, but your upper body is rotated around, shoulders lovely and open. And then we move across the heels and let the 2 knees fall the opposite side. And then we come across to the other side again, 2 knees landing. So lovely opening of the hips, twisting and rotating in the upper body. And you'll probably move along the mat as you do so, and that's okay. But just making sure those 2 knees land as much as possible as we do so. We've got 3 and 2, and last one here. Bring yourself back up your mat if you need to. Now we might add on a little bit here. So when we turn and land on the knees, we lift up, we send our hips forward. We land back down on the mat. We go across the heels again. We land the knees, we lift forward, we send the hips forward. We come back down. We land the knees, we lift the hips forward, we come back down. We've got 3 more here, guys. Lovely opening of the front of the body, especially if you've been at a desk. You can feel that beautiful hip opening. And last one here. And come back to center. Release the hands down to the mat. 2 feet out in front, and we'll come down to line onto the mat. Open the shoulders, 2 feet are flat on the mat, hip distance apart. Making a basket with the hands, bring them behind the head. Keeping the elbows nice and wide here, guys. Taking a big inhale, as we exhale, we lift the head, neck and shoulders. Elbows go wide and high rather than forward. Release it back down. Lift the head, neck and shoulders, elbows wide and high. Release it back down. Exhale as we go. We're trying to get those shoulder blades off the mat and bring it down. Lifting height and width, release it down. Okay, we'll add on a little bit. We go up, we hold it here, we try to go a little higher, we release it down. We lift up, we go a little higher, we release it down. Lift up, little higher, release it down. Last one here, lift up, little higher, hold it. Right leg comes to tabletop, right leg goes long, right leg comes to tabletop, We go a little higher, the right leg comes down, head, neck and shoulders come down. We lift up, we lift the left leg to tabletop, left leg long, left leg tabletop. We try to go a little higher and wider with the elbows, left leg down, we release it back down, lifting up and wide, right leg tabletop, long, back in, a little higher, place the left leg, right leg down and back down, back up, left leg tabletop, long, back in. We try to go a little higher, we place the left leg down, back down, last one on each side, lift up, right leg tabletop, long, back in, lifting a little higher, releasing the right leg down, place it down, lift up, right leg, long, back in, little higher, right, left leg down and place it back in. Well done, guys. Hug those knees in, give yourself a little break here. Lovely. Okay, so sending the two legs into tabletop and having a check here with your tabletop, guys. We want the knees in line with the hips. We want to try to avoid the knees coming back towards the chest. Now, unless you have any lower back issues, then feel free to have the knees a little bit in. But otherwise, if you have your knees out here, we're coming into those deep core muscles, and that's what we want to work. There's a big difference in the work we're going to achieve if the legs are in the correct position. Also heels, trying to avoid them from coming down towards the seat bones as well. So with our two legs in tabletop, having a check of your pelvis, maybe giving yourself a wriggle around to just check that there's not too much of an arch in your spine, and also that there's not too much of an imprint where you're placing the lower spine onto the mat. You want somewhere in between, a little small gap, not too much. Then bring your two arms up to the ceiling. Open the shoulders, fingertips up to the ceiling. And just a very small movement here, but keeping your concentration on the pelvis. We want to keep that really, really quiet. Very little movement. We just straighten the toes up to the ceiling. And we take a bend, we keep them in tabletop. We just straighten the toes up to the ceiling. We keep a bend into tabletop. So you could probably feel that this is switching on and working that deep, deep core muscles in order to just take that little movement, keeping the legs in the correct position. We've got 3 and 2 and last one. 2 feet up towards the ceiling, flex the heels. The toes come back towards the head. We're going to have diagonal movement now, so we want to move the left arm, right leg goes long, and then exhale to get it back to center. Opposite side, left arm, right leg, back to center. Releasing down, back to center. We're not letting either of them go fully down to the mat, and we come back to center. Again, looking like quite a simple move, but really firing up those deep core muscles. Last 3, use your breath, and 2, last 1, lovely. Bringing the 2 legs back to tabletop, the 2 hands come behind the thighs here, and we'll bring our head, neck and shoulders up off the mat. So use your legs to pull you forward a little bit so that you can feel your shoulder blades, how high they can be up off the mat. From here, flex those feet, flex them and keep them alive, send energy out of them so you've got everything working here. We want to avoid the heels falling down towards the seat bones as well. The right leg goes up towards the ceiling, the right hand comes behind the head and neck, and we send the left hand up to the ceiling. As we release the leg and the arm, we let the head, neck and shoulders come back down. We come back to center. We release everything down. We come back to center. Use the breath. Inhale down. Exhale center. Inhale down. Elbow nice and wide. And release it down. If you want to advance on this, guys, you keep the head, neck and shoulders up. You just release the leg and arm. Back to center. Just release the leg and arm. Try not to let the right leg touch the mat. We come back. Flex the heel, energy out of the heel. Release it back up. We've got 5 and 4. Elbow nice and wide. And 3 and 2. Last one here. Hold it if you can. Bring the head, neck and shoulder up. Left hand goes to the outside of the ankle. Try to aim for the ankle bone on the right foot. Pulse up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. 2 hands behind the thighs. Pull yourself a little bit forward here. Lift those shoulder blades off the mat. Flex the heels. Send the energy out of the legs. This time we're sending the left heel to the ceiling. Left hand behind the head. The right hand goes up towards the ceiling and we release. Everything comes down long and back to center. Everything down long and back to center. Inhale down. Exhale to get back up. Inhale down. Exhale to get back up. And then if you want to advance, we keep the head, neck and shoulders up. We just release the hand and arm. We've got 5 and 4 and 3, 2, elbow nice and wide. Last one, right fingertips to the outside of the left ankle, pulse up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last little bit, hands behind the thighs, bring yourself forward. So last little challenge here. Heels, flex, flex, flex. Shoulder blades off the mat. Everything stays where it is except we let go of the hands. The hands are in line with the knees. Then they come in line with the ears. And then they come in line with the shoulders. They come in line with the knees. We try to go a little higher. We come in line with the ears. We open out wide. We go in line with the knees. We try and go a little higher. In line with the ears. Out wide. Last one here, in line with the knees. Pulse up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Hug it in. Woo! Well done, guys, well done. Squeeze those knees in and then place the 2 legs back down onto the mat. Feet together, knees together, thighs together. Bring your 2 hands onto your elbows and let the arms come overhead. Try and touch the forearms down onto the mat. And then let the 2 knees fall out. The soles of your feet stay together. You're opening out, letting everything relax. Big inhale and exhale. Big inhale into the belly, sending the rib cage left and right, and exhale. This time as you inhale, you lift the arms overhead, the 2 knees come back together. And then as you exhale, the 2 knees fall out, the 2 arms come overhead. Big inhale, everything comes back to center. And as you exhale, opening out, let those 2 knees really fall out, open the pelvis. Last one here, 2, big inhale, and then as you exhale, release it all out. And then release the hands, bring them behind the thighs, rock yourself forward, come up to seated, and turn to come onto all 4s. So from here, we'll tuck our toes in underneath. We want to come to like a half angry cat position. We want to draw up on the rib cage. So like our core is a mouth, the last rib cage, or last rib of your ribs and your hip bone, if you're to close that mouth, you're drawing yourself up a little bit. That means you're coming up into the shoulders and avoiding coming down here and being in your wrists. So from there, we're going to lift the knees an inch off the mat and then release them down. We lift the knees an inch off the mat and release them down. So drawing up on that rib cage as we lift up and release down. I'm just going to turn to face this way, apologies. 10 fingers spread wide, arms in line with the wrists. And we want to think about drawing up on the rib cage a little bit here. We want to think about the mouth of the core. So your last rib and your hip bone, if that's the mouth, we're closing it. We're drawing up on the rib cage. We're protecting the wrists. We're protecting from coming down here. We're coming up into the shoulders. We're strong. We then, from that position, lift the knees off the mat and we place them back down. We lift the knees above the mat, place them back down. So we're closing the mouth of the core to do so. We release it down. We lift and we hold, holding it here. And we want to think about stability in the pelvis, quietness, as little movement as possible in the upper body, the pelvis. We just move the right leg back. We tap the floor. we bring it back in. Now feel free to place the knees down in between if you need to, but more of an advanced version will be to keep the knees floating. Send it long back, tap the floor on the left hand side, bring it back in. So really quiet, tap, bring it back in, tap, bring it back in, drawing up on that rib cage, closing the mouth of the core. Quiet pelvis, we try not to rock side to side. The transition from side to side, we do nice and quietly. We've got 2, bring it in, last 1, bring it in, and we come back to down dog. Lovely work. Walk it out, big bend in one knee, opposite heel down. Send the head back to the foot that the heel is down to get that nice stretch into the shoulders as well. Maybe look under an arm each side as you go. Okay, we're going to come back, 2 legs, soft bend in the knees. We lift the right leg up high. We take a bend in the right knee. We step it forward and we bring our body upright. So just have a little adjustment of your body if you need to, because we came up in a funny way. We want to make sure that when we come into our lunges here, that the back knee is down towards the mat, not quite touching it but close, but the front knee, more importantly, isn't over the toes. So adjust your legs back if you need to. The front knee needs to be in line with the heel. We want everything into this front leg, the powering into that front leg, so that we avoid, if we come into our toes, we'll come into our knees. So we want to really avoid that. So arms in front, open the collarbones, open the shoulders. We come down to a lunge and we come back up. Lovely. So that back knee comes close to the mat. Maybe tap it, but no weight. Release down, collarbones lovely and open. Rib cage, try not to flare it. And maybe the tailbone a little bit tucked so the pelvic bone is shining forward. We're not sending the seat bones back as we come down. Lovely work. We've got 3, 2, and last one. We hold it down here. We'll send our 2 arms up to the ceiling, look up, but release the shoulders. And then we're going to open out, sending the right fingertips forward, the left fingertips back. We then big inhale, hands to the ceiling. We open out the opposite way. Left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. We come back to center and we stand up, 2 straight legs. We come back down, we open out, right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Try to send them away from each other to find space. Big inhale, looking up, and as we exhale, we open out the opposite way. Send our vision back. We come back to center, and we stand back up. Lovely work, last one here. Coming down, open out, looking back at the backhand. We come back to center. Open out, look back at the backhand. Come back to center, hands down to the front. We're going to pulse here, 8, 7, 6. As we do, we're sending the weight forward into this front leg because we're going to be bringing this back leg with us. So thinking of driving all the energy into that front leg, try to avoid throwing the body forward. We want everything coming from that front leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step up. Keeping that left leg, up with you. Now if you need to, particularly if new level, feel free to use a wall, a chair beside you if you need to. Just try not to put too much weight on it. You want it to have a light touch. From here, we send that left leg back behind with control. Toes come down, body nice and upright. We lunge. We step back up. We step it back with control and we lunge. We try not to throw it back and land on it if you can. We bring it back up. So we're driving everything from the heel to the glute on this front leg is doing all the work. We try to avoid the body throwing us forward. Lovely. We've got 3 and down and 2. And when we come back, we remember to lunge as well. It's not just stepping back. Last one here, we step it back, we lunge, we come back up with that left leg. I'm going to just turn to show you here from this angle. Collarbones nice and open. We want to take a slight bend forward from the hips. So we're bending a little forward here. And then we send that knee back a little and we open out here. Soft bend in this right leg. Bring it back in. Lovely. Lift it nice and high. Try to keep the heel high as well. bring it back in. Lift it high, bring it back in. Again, collarbones are open, trying to avoid the curving in the spine, but we're leaning a little forward from the hip bones. 5, and back in. And 4, back in. 3, and 2. Last little challenge here. We'll send the right leg out, left leg out, apologies. Send it around, and we curtsy. We come back up, bring that left knee with you. We send it around, far back as possible, down as low as possible. We bring it back up. So whenever you're meeting royalty, you'll be ready to do lots of curtsies. And even pulse. We've got 5. Bring it around and down. And 4, around and down. Shoulders lovely and open. And 3, around and down. Last 1. Around, hold it here. We come down nice and low. The shoulders are open and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it. Left hand down, right hand down, right foot back, and we're back in down dog. Lovely work, guys. Walk it out. Send the heels down. Again, little stretch into the shoulders, stretch into the hamstrings. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. 2 legs, little soft bend. Lift the left leg up high, bend in the knee, step it forward, and we'll bring the body upright again. So we want to adjust the body here so that we protect the knee on the left hand side, knee in line with the heel. Toes are just there for prettiness. Take a bend in the right knee, come down. Shoulder blades back, collarbones open, body nice and upright. Rib cage in, pelvis a little forward. Lots to think about. So we've got 3 and 2 and 1. We hold it down. We send the arms up, we look up. We open out, left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. Hold it here. Send the hands away from each other, find space. Big inhale, look up. As we exhale, we open out. The opposite one, a little bit trickier. Send it away. Big inhale, we stand up, 2 straight legs. We come back down. Exhale as we open out. Send the 2 hands away. Inhale as we come up. Exhale as we open out. Inhale as we come up. 2 straight legs up. Last one here of the day. Unless of course you're practicing later on, which I'm sure you all will do. Send it away. Back up. And exhale out. Back up. And we bring the hands back down and we pulse. So this time you guys know where we're going. We're going to be bringing this back leg with us. We want to send that energy into that front heel without falling over like me. So we drive into this leg. 3, 2, 1. We step up. Right leg comes with us. You fall over for me. You step it back and you lunge. We step up. We step it back with control and lunge. We step up. Lovely. Step it back, down to a lunge. Driving into that front leg, particularly the heel, the whole way up. We try to avoid throwing the body forward. We've got 3. Send it back and lunge. Open the collarbones. And 2. Send it back and lunge. Last 1. Back with control, lunge. We bring that up. We let the knee come back in line with the other knee and we bend slightly forward, soft bend in the left leg, and I'll just turn and then we open out, we bring it back in. A lovely open hip, the knee goes as high as it can, and try to avoid the heel coming down here and opening like so. We want to open, the heel comes as high as the knee and back out. Keeping that soft bend in the left leg so it's not locked out. Collarbones up. 3, 2, and last one. The right leg goes right behind and we curtsy. Bring it back up, fall over, right behind, curtsy. Bring it back up, round behind with control, unlike that one that I just did. Bring it back up, around with control. 3 and up and 2. Making sure this front foot is facing forwards, by the way, not sideways if you can. And up. Last one, we hold it down, collarbones are lovely and open, beautifully and gracefully. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it. Left hand down to the mat, right hand down to the mat, and you come back into your down dog position. Walk it out. Big bend in one knee, opposite heel down. Well done, guys. Heavy work there. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. We let the knees come down to the mat. We come into a little short cat-cow stretch, opening out. Inhale up, or sorry, exhale up. Inhale out. Exhale up. Last one here. Inhale out. Exhale up. Last little challenge before we come into a nice stretch and then we're done. So tuck the toes in underneath here. We're lifting those knees again, so we're closing the mouth of the core. Lift the knees. We lift the right hand, we turn, the feet cross, and we sit down. We send the right hand to the ceiling. Pressure into the hands and the feet to lift the seat bones up. We keep the knees low. We come back into floating knees. We twist again to the right. We sit back down. Send the hands up to the ceiling. Lift the seat bones low. Knees swing around. We come back to hover knees. Last one on this side. Place it down. Reach up. Lift up. And come back. We'll go to the other side now. We send the left hand up and open. We sit down. Reaching up, we lift, we turn, keeping the knees nice and low. We come back to hover knees. We open out to the left hand side. We sit back down. Reaching up, we twist around, and we're hover knees. Last one here, guys. We turn, sit back down, reach up, and then turn, come back. Hovered knees, hold it here for a little second, and then we're going to take a little jump where we send the feet forward into a low seated squat, or get there whatever way you need to. So from here, guys, opening the shoulders again, finding length in the spine, moving left and right a little, hopefully feeling a little looser than the last time we did this. Send the hands down to the mat. We lift the seat bones high, release the head down heavy, let go. And then as we exhale, we send the seat bones down, prayer position. And then we send the hands down, lift the seat bones high, release. And then we'll release back down. Last one here, long spine, hands back to the mat. Release the head back down, heel toe the feet back in together so that they're hip distance apart. Soft bend in the knees. Let go of the head, neck and shoulders, release everything down. Big, big inhale and exhale. Big, big inhale and exhale. And then slowly leaving everything really heavy, head heavy, arms heavy, soft bend in the knees. We start to restack. And then as we get to the top, roll the shoulders, take a big inhale, send the fingertips up to the ceiling. As we exhale, we open out the arms, open the chest, chin to the chest. Big inhale, send the hands up to the ceiling. And as we exhale, we open out, chin to the chest, hold it here for a second. Really open the shoulders, send the fingertips down to the floor, find length in the neck, send the crown of the head forward. Relax the shoulders and the hands. Send the chin around to look over the left shoulder. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, roll the chin across the body to the right shoulder. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, release the chin across the body. Last one here. Big inhale. And as you exhale, come across the body. Back to center. Head comes forward. And guys, you are all done. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me today.